Welcome back to Oak Creek Conservancy. In order to release oak, don't you have to first hold it? Not here. Curious? Stay tuned. Oak release is actually a forestry practice that's crucial in restoring oak woodlands, which is what we're doing here at Oak Creek Conservancy. Basically, oak trees are very sensitive to sunlight in that they need full sun to thrive. And in the mixed forest here with the fir trees growing up very quickly and very tall, they will soon overtop the oaks, shade the oaks, stunt their growth, and eventually kill them. So the process of oak release is a selective thinning, taking out the fir trees and thinning out the oak trees that are actually competing with one another. And then that allows us to achieve a density of oak trees in which they can get enough sun and thrive. Thus, the oak woodland is restored. We were able to complete the oak release program with the help of an environmental quality incentive program grant. The landowner is paid $764 per acre, and the landowner pays for the entire process of logging, etc., but they get to keep the timber revenue when the fir trees are sold. Here's a picture of the initial view of the forest before the oak release, and look on the left there, that's a dead oak that was shaded. And here's an oak that is in the process of being shaded. These small fir trees are growing right up through the crown. Now, these are maybe only 10 or 15 years old. Here's some larger fir trees, maybe 30 or so years old, but they've grown right through the crown of this large oak tree, and they're about to kill the tree. In this case, if they're larger firs, they can just be cut down by the loggers like a normal tree falling. But sometimes the trees are so congested and so compact that they grow up through the crown. And these are smaller trees. These are maybe 15 or so years, maybe 20, and they're 70 or 80 feet long. They have grown right up very quickly through the oak trees, through the crowns, and they can only be removed by being cut at their base and pulled out by a tractor. This is not ideal. This causes damage to branches on the trees, as you can imagine, really, and it causes quite a mess too. The logging, this is kind of underestimated. The logging, while it frees the oaks to get more sun, it really creates a mess on the ground, and there's a lot of slash, etc., that has to be cleaned up. And here's an oak tree. Look at this branch. It's just reaching out for sunlight. This oak has already been freed of a lot of fir trees, and we can see that it really likes the sunlight here. It's reaching up to the sun. And here's a great example. There's a large fir tree that's giving some shade to this oak. And when this fir tree is removed, it's about to be removed. Here it comes. And look at the sunlight then that gets to that oak
Voila.
branch and those leaves. That's what the oak tree is like. That's what oak release is all about. Here's a large pile of Douglas fir logs that are going to the mill. We probably totaled about 30 full log trucks full of lumber when we were going through this oak release and doing the logging. But it wasn't just Douglas fir. We also cut some oak because when the oak trees were competing with each other, they had to come down. But look in the background. Look at those remaining oak trees. They're sort of like sticks. They were so congested when they grew up together that they really got thin and scrawny. Here's a nice picture of an oak that has been released. It basically is getting lots of sunlight, and it no longer has to compete with the large number of firs that were growing right up through the tree. This is an ongoing process. To this day, I'm taking out more fir trees as they grow up through the oaks and cause more damage. And here's the density of oak woodland that I'm trying to achieve. You can see the trees are spread out nicely. There's no competing fir trees, and the oaks are getting a lot of sunlight. And this drone shot gives us a nice picture of the difference between oak release and land that has not been released. To the bottom there, which is to the south, that's the neighbor's property that has not undergone oak release. To the north, the upper part, it has undergone oak release and the oaks are thriving. That's it on oak release. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.